Hello and welcome to Who Would Win in a Fight. Today's video isn't a prediction video. I have to admit, to my eternal shame, I didn't do a prediction video on Mikey Garcia versus Adrien Broner. So tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, in many ways, a review video. First thing, I have to hold my hand up. As someone who likes his boxing and obviously takes a great interest in it, I haven't really watched a whole lot of Garcia. So, shame on me, but we're going to move past that. Now, this video isn't going to be a dislike video in regard to Broner. Now, there is an awful lot to dislike about what may just be his professional persona. In the end, does anyone really know what he's like as a person? All we have to go on, in many ways, is what we're fed in around fights, and his attitude, his arrogance, all the unsavoury things. But maybe, in fairness to the guy hanging around with Floyd Mayweather, he's decided from an early get-go that the bad boy, the whole about billions persona, is the best way to go to garner interest and the best thing for his career. And if it is, fair play to him. That's what's working. Now, in terms of what's to like about him, I have to say, fundamentally he's flawed, but you can't deny his grit and his chin and his heart. He has taken his lumps in recent times against Sean Porter and more notably against Marcus Maidana, where he suffered 2 knockdowns on the way to a convincing loss. But he took him and he showed grit in both fights, especially against Porter, where he finished. He got a 12th round knockdown against Porter. He still lost. He still lost comfortably. He should really be at 135, but his body is... I don't think his body is able to make it down to 135 anymore, so that's why he's got to operate at 140, 147. For me, the night that Broner, his frailties were exposed, not in regard to his chin or his heart, but the night he fought Gavin Rees, the Welsh fighter, who I think was pretty good fighter, world champion at one stage, but he was a very small lightweight. And I remember watching that fight against Rees and Broner. It was far too easy for Gavin Rees to hit Adrien Broner. Now, maybe Broner didn't mind too much because Rees was such the lighter man. He could afford to take a couple of punches, but it was alarming how easy and how often Gavin Rees could touch Broner. And what happened when Broner went up against bigger guys, he was, again, easy to hit. And he suffered knockdowns as a result. Now, getting on to Mikey Garcia, again, is criminal in many ways that I haven't watched a whole lot of his fights. But there's so much to like about him. Humble guy. His fundamentals are really, really good. He doesn't do anything too fancy. He doesn't do anything amazing. But he does everything really, really well. No messing, no nonsense. And that's exactly the way it played out on fight night against Broner and Garcia. Broner is, in many ways, I think he's a good boxer. You're not going to get as far as Broner's got without being a good boxer, without having a high skill set. But his fundamentals are lacking. And in the ring against a guy like Mikey, that was cruelly exposed. I don't know what the thought process was. What the thought process was after round 5 or 6 in regard to what Broner was thinking and what his corner was thinking. Sometimes it probably doesn't matter what Broner's corner is thinking. How much of an input did he have into Broner? Who knows? It doesn't look like much. Nothing else seemed to change. The urgency that was required from mid to late fight wasn't there from Broner, and Mikey just cruised to the decision that he got. If they fought again in the morning, I think it would be exactly the same. Mikey was always in control. He was allowed to be in control. if they fought again and Broner put the foot on the gas and showed a little bit more fire in his belly, would the result be any different? No, I don't think so. I think Mikey would still win. Would he win as comfortably? Probably not. But he looked, again, for me, it comes back to the biggest issue with Broner is he's definitely not a natural 147, and he probably is a natural 140, but fighting welterweights and light welterweights, top quality guys. And again, we're criticising Broner at a top level here. He's operating at world level for the last couple of years, so you have to give him his credit. But I can see him coming out favourably against guys like Keith Thurman at 147, Danny Garcia at 147, even Danny Garcia at 140. I like Danny. He's, again, he does the basics very well, got a bit of power, and he's got good ring generalship, as he showed against Lucas Matisse. So I think Broner, in terms of where his career path lies, he's going to have to operate at light welter at 140 because he can't mix it with the big boys. He just doesn't have the power to keep him off. And his skill set, his skill set is fine, but his fundamentals are flawed. Again, very, very impressed with Mikey. There's an awful lot to be said for what he does. So basic, but so good. Doesn't give too much away, doesn't get caught with cheap shots. And Broner, in many ways, was exposed that night when he comes up against someone his own size. It's okay fighting someone like Gavin Rees, who, again, I can't say enough how highly I rate Gavin Rees, but even as at lightweight, Gavin was a very, very small boxer. Decent skill, good heart. But he touched Broner way too much. So, just to sum up then, good victory by Garcia. Bit too easy for my liking, but a very good name on his record. Broner's going to have to go back to the drawing board. He's going to have to rethink where his future lies, because all the about billions, it's not going to materialise ever. What he's got to look at now is creating a legacy that will maybe someday get him into the Hall of Fame. And the way Mikey Garcia is conducting his business, he's well on his way. So well done to Garcia, and hats off to Broner. Not necessarily, I don't think he showed himself too well in this fight. It was just, he was off, it was all wrong. But in previous efforts, he has shown heart, and I don't think anyone can deny that. He has shown heart and a high level of resilience to take the punishment he did against Maidana and Porter. So, on to next time. Goodbye.